up, everyone? I'm Deanna Reese-Williams. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about what I wish I knew before I pursued my doctorate. First off, I have to start up by saying that I started this journey many years ago and actually came back to finish my doctorate in fall of 2020. So here's a couple of things that I wish I would have known, and I hope that this advice will help those of you that are working adults, or even if you're not working, but this is kind of geared towards people that are working full time or considering starting their doctoral journey. So here's a couple of things I want to outline and give some stories along the way. So expectations versus the reality of getting my PsyD. First off, I feel like there's two different expectations. There's the coursework, and then there's actually working on your dissertation or your applied doctoral project, which is what I'm working on. The coursework, no problem. If I had to turn in a 15-page paper, I could sit down on a Sunday, work on it, do some edits, whatever, on Monday and be done. Could get it done with no issue. When I started the actual chapters 1, 2, and 3, that's when reality hit. So I would say you need to have a pretty good routine on how you're going to complete your writing process of your paper. If you don't have any structure in place, it's going to be challenging to get through your coursework versus getting through your actual paper itself. Oftentimes, more than 50% of the students will just drop out when they get to the actual dissertation part. And I think part of it is they're overwhelmed, they don't know what to do, not sure how to organize themselves, and they're waiting for somebody to tell them what to do. That's the funny thing about getting a doctorate. Nobody wants to tell you what to do. And sometimes that includes your chair or your committee member, which can be frustrating. So again, I would just recommend you really need to know and understand what you're signing yourself up for. So I think watching videos like mine, watching other content creators that are going through this experience as well, I think will be helpful for you to figure out if this is the thing that I want to do. Also, you probably need to figure out why are you getting this degree? What do you plan to do with this doctorate when you're done? And it's okay to say, I'm doing this because this is what I want to do. But I'm telling you, when you're starting to write chapters 1, 2, and 3, you're going to really need to know why are you doing it? Because you're going to get very frustrated, potentially during that process. All right, so what would I have done differently? Honestly, my journey itself, I'm glad that I started in 2013, so I had that experience. If I could go back to 2013, first off, I was 30 versus in my mid 30s or closer to 40. I'm 41 now. So if I could do it over, I wish I would have been more clear as to what I was going to do with the degree afterwards. I think the 5-year gap of not working on it, part of it was, I think, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to study criminology justice. I knew that I wanted to understand psychological things that was happening to parents when children were removed. And I wanted to understand the adult system from a mental health and criminology perspective. So I got all of that, but it's like, what do you want to do? Because the idea is that you're supposed to create a program so then you can implement that program wherever you live or be able to pass this program out so practitioners in the field could use it. That's pretty much the intent. And I know for a fact at 30, I knew I wanted to research the topic, but I didn't know what I wanted to do after the fact. So I'm very thankful that life happened. I had to take that 5-year pause, and it was great because honestly, when I decided to go back and complete my doctorate, I was in higher education already. I'd already started working at the community college. And the funny thing is people were like, the second I started, they're like, when are you going to work on your doctorate? And they didn't know that I had already worked on this doctorate. So I'm like, what do you mean? I'm done with school, right? So I would just say now there's more value in me pursuing my doctorate because I am in higher education. My masters have served me well, and I'm not saying that I had to get my doctorate, but for the things that you need to be able to do in academia, it brings more value to the program that I'm in because I'll have my doctorate. And anyways, it helps with accreditation and stuff like that. So It's good in that sense. But I was more clear about what type of program I wanted to develop by the time I entered back into my doctorate. And so now my program that I'm developing, it's specifically for formerly incarcerated mothers, nonviolent offenders that are reunifying with their children. And I'm developing a parent training handbook. And so it's a 12-week program, and it's focusing on relational theory along with attachment. And anyways, I'm not going to get into all the weeds about it, but I would not have been able to tell you that 10 years ago. I just would have been like, yeah, I'm getting this done. And I would have been one of those people working on chapter 1 and just feeling kind of overwhelmed because I wasn't clear about why I was doing it in the first place. So some key things new doctoral students should know. I think I just expressed that. Why are you getting it? You need to know why you're pursuing that education. If you're not sure why you're pursuing it, then I think it's going to be harder to complete your doctorate because you're going to get frustrated. You might procrastinate. You might want to quit because you're not sure what you want to do. So I think before you decide to pursue it, look into the industry that you plan to be researching. Do you want to be research based? Are you trying to be practitioner based? Is it going to help you get a raise? You need to be clear about why you're doing this work and why you're pursuing your doctorate. So know the why. Resources and tools I wish I had earlier. Well, it's not that there's a specific resource or tool that I'm using because our university already offers us Canvas as a tool that we're able to use. Not really a tool, but just that's where all of my coursework and everything is organized in that space. We also have some tools within the university itself. I know people have used Evernote. There's also, oh my gosh, there's a tool that was just shared with me the other day. Mendeley is a great tool. Notion. How can I forget Notion? I would say using Notion would also be a great tool to organize yourself. I know several doctoral students use Notion to keep themselves organized. I personally did not go down that path only because I felt like I already had systems in place that I was using. If you're not using Google Docs, then I don't know why. Because it's a great tool to be collaborative as well and very user friendly. Not that I don't use Word, but I like Google Docs. It's just a little bit more user friendly to me. So I would say these are some of the tools that I've used or tools that I've known that people have used. But you definitely want to have a tool that's going to be able to capture all of the resources and references that you're going to be needing to manage when you're doing your literature review and stuff like that. So that's what I would recommend. Here's a couple of questions that I need to answer. All right, so what surprised me the most about my PsyD journey? You know what? What surprised me the most was working with my peers in our peer meetup group. I had no idea that I needed a peer group until I was in one. It's been the most rewarding experience, and I highly recommend that whenever you start your journey, start connecting with people early on because you're going to need these people as you're going through your journey to complete your degree. It's so different getting a doctorate than getting any other degree that I've ever pursued in my life, partly because a lot of people don't pursue it. And the only people that are going to understand your experience are the people that are actually pursuing it with you. That's been the most surprising part, is how isolating but yet rewarding when you're able to connect with people that just totally get what you're going through. All right, what do I wish I had prepared for sooner? I wish I would have prepared that my chair and committee member can only give me so much guidance. And I wish I would have leaned into working with my peers a little bit more and making those connections. Not that it didn't happen along the way, because I definitely connected with people. I wish we would have stayed in touch more. I guess that's my point, is that we would have stayed in touch throughout our entire journey. I think that would have made a difference in terms of success rate and people completing and all of that. I think you have to be really intentional and motivated to connect with your peers. So that's what I wish I would have prepared for sooner. And I also wish I would have known, and I have to say, the Mendeley tool, I was told about this tool by a peer in the peer meetup group. So I wish I would have known about tools a little bit sooner, and I wish I would have used them. The problem with me with tools is giving me a budgeting system. I already have a system that I use. So as someone who typically builds her own systems, I wish I would have built out a stronger system for myself or use systems that were readily available to me. All right, what is one piece of advice I would give a new PsyD student, or honestly like a PhD student? Take the breaks. You will need them. Take them. Take your breaks, connect with your peers, and take it one day at a time and make it achievable for yourself. You're not going to be able to write this entire paper in one setting. So figure out a system to organize yourself and figure out a way that you can interface with your paper every single day so you can be successful and achieve your actual goal, which is completing your PsyD or your PhD. I hope that this video was super valuable and helpful to you today, and I will catch you all on the next video. So have a good day, have a good night, and have a great morning from wherever you're watching this video. Take care.